Welcome to 10-5, the official podcast of the OPP Association. My name is Scott Mills.
And I'm Emily Brown, and we are the Strategic Communications Coordinators for the OPP Association, and your host for the 10-5 podcast, the official podcast of the OPP Association. A little bit of background for our new listeners. The OPP Association is the sole bargaining agent for the close to 10,000 members of the Ontario Provincial Police in Canada. Our members are our focus and our strength, and we aim to provide important information to our members and the public about matters that affect policing in the province of Ontario.
And today we welcome back to the podcast one of our former guests, a retired OPPA member. She retired from the OPP as a staff sergeant, Kathleen Doherty. And we're going to be talking about the World Police and Fire Games 2025. And a little background on Kathleen. She retired back in 2018. And for those of you who know her, she has been an avid fitness enthusiast and a promoter of wellness her entire career, and she's volunteered for many years with the academy, teaching fitness testing across the province, and she was honored to be the winner of the Eric Nystedt Award, which is quite a prestigious honor. And when she retired, she's really continued her passion for fitness. Coaching fitness classes, coaching paddling, and competing internationally, which has included in the past the World Police and Fire Games, and she's quite involved for next year's games. So it's a pleasure to have you back, and welcome, Kathleen.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. Happy to be here.
So Kathleen, I understand the last time you were on the podcast as a guest, you were heading off to the Ukraine as a volunteer for Global Medic. So before we get into the games, can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Absolutely. I've been involved with them since about 2019. I actually went for a second time just before this last Christmas. Our role primarily, initially when I went, which I believe was last time I was on the show, was to set up some food programs where we donated food from Canada initially, but the intent was to set up a self-sufficient food distribution program with local farmers and also with dried goods and foods in Moldova primarily, where a lot of the Ukrainian refugees were finding refuge from the war. And initially when I went as well, my partner, who was a retired OPP officer, went with me, and we were helping mothers and children who were coming across the border that had nowhere to stay and trying to allocate them to stay within the community in Moldova. So this last Christmas, we were working with an organization from Germany, Johanniter, which I guess is similar to our St. John's ambulance, and distributing, going through a quite arduous border crossing from Romania into the Ukraine, but distributing Christmas presents to some of the local community centers and halls, which was probably one of the most rewarding things I've done to date with that organization.
Well, you send shivers up my spine when you're talking about all that. Kudos to you and to your partner for going over and doing that, Kathleen. It's such important work you're doing, and I know you've dedicated so much time and effort into it. So thank you very much. You represent all of us very well over there as part of the OPP as well as Canadians, and we're grateful for what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely a team effort. If it wasn't for all the volunteers and all of us working together, it's definitely a team effort. And it's nice to see Canada as being probably one of the last countries that's still offering a lot of full-time external support to the people of Ukraine. So definitely a message that it's not over what they're fighting right now. So it's definitely worth trying to keep up on it and help where you can.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And in the spirit of you being an active volunteer and all of your exciting adventures, it's all very inspiring. And you reached out recently to us, and you were letting us know you're involved in the upcoming World Police and Fire Games, and I was wondering if you can just tell us kind of what that's all going to look like for you.
Sure. I probably the last time I was involved with the games was back in 2017 when they were in Los Angeles. Obviously, the United States tends to host quite a few of them just because of the broadness of states and being able to have the resources to put on events of this magnitude. But when I went to compete in Winnipeg last year, it was, I have more time now, and I thought I really want to get back involved because I remember so many positive things that came out of being in that group of like-minded first responders, and not only in healthy competition, but that sort of link between, healthy mind, healthy body, and definitely helps. It's a skill set I think we have to keep as a priority. And sadly, I think so many forces are putting wellness and fitness on the back burner, and it has to be brought to the forefront. So when I knew I would be returning to the games next year, which are in Birmingham, Alabama, a couple officers I'd met said, we really need somebody to help, promote it within their own city. So they were seeking something called ambassadors. So it's, again, a volunteer position, but basically to sort of be the voice and the eyes and ears to get out. And rather than just receive an email across, a broad corporation, you actually have somebody who's showing up, doing a bit of photo op, promoting on social media, and being there to sort of answer questions, because let's face it, if you're running an event of this magnitude, with over, up close to 9,000 responders competing, you can't necessarily get to everybody's question. So basically they sent us a huge box of posters and swag to give away. And the idea is just, again, be that sort of voice on the ground to help promote it. So I'm hoping, I've already visited Barrie Police Service, some fire departments, and bit by bit, I'll be coming to meet with the commissioner on the 28th of August. I've confirmed that. And try and hit as many police forces and services as I can. So if anybody's listening and has a relative or somebody in another force or a similar first responder business, then definitely give me a call and I can make sure they get some information to help promote it within their own service.
How do they reach out to you? What number do you want to be contacted, or email, or?
Well, most of the questions should be able to be answered at the game's website. So it's BHM or Bravo Hotel Mike 2025.com. If that can't be answered, then they can probably reach me if they want to give you a call or just connect with you, Scott. Feel free to pass on my personal email.
Sure. If you want to email communications@oppa.ca, that goes to Emily and myself, as well as our former podcast host here, Josh Jutras. The three of us are on that email, and we will definitely get you in touch with Kathleen for any questions that you have. 1,600 different events and 60 plus sports. What's that all about?
It's crazy. It's it's the variety and the depth and breadth of all the sports you can participate in. So I can give you an extreme. There's two of the big, most popular or sort of badges of honor, so to speak, you can win. Toughest Competitor Alive, which is similar to basically doing a CrossFit competition, although CrossFit is its own entity. And also, I believe, Toughest Firefighter event. So obviously, both of these are very skill-oriented towards things that you might be tasked to do on a day-to-day basis. And then on the extreme of that, you can participate in a cornhole competition or darts or badminton, chess, disc golf. It's crazy. Angling. If you're an avid fisherman, come on out to Alabama and you can compete in that. There's a range of racing and cycling. So basically anything that has two wheels, there's probably an event for it, from mountain biking to race course proper, shooting sports, pistols, then your traditional fitness like weightlifting, bodybuilding, rowing, push-pull competitions, and then a myriad of combat competitions with every kind of martial art, from jiu-jitsu to judo to taekwondo to karate. So there's basically something for everyone. And I think that's what makes it so amazing is you can make it a family event because the companion programs are fantastic. There's always tons to do. And it's incredible that every city that hosts just rolls out the red carpet, and that sort of camaraderie that you can feel of being with like-minded individuals especially from someone like myself who's retired, to bring that sort of sense of family back is just incredible and so inspiring. It sort of carries you for 2 more years until the next games show up.
And it's so helpful. You alluded to this, and healthy to get out and involved in events like this.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, sadly, I think we talk a good talk when it comes to encouraging resiliency and, mental health programs. And I mean, the OPP has come such a long way in offering that as support and assistance. But we have to also encourage that just day-to-day wellness. And I think it includes sending representatives to events like this, because it sort of shows the world. And when these individuals come back, it's infectious, because people say, where did you go? What happened there? What did you like? And that sort of, I think, sparks that thinking in people that, you know what, maybe I need to step up my game and get fit and well and stay well, so that when I do retire, that's sort of the next chapter of my life. And it's not supposed to be a gearing down. It's supposed to be a gearing up with health and wellness, so that you can truly participate now that time is your own, with you and your family. So I definitely try to promote that, because I've seen people's lives turn around mentally just by getting physically active. And if that means playing darts versus, doing a marathon run, then you're getting up and you're using your mind and body to do something rather than just sitting in front of a television. So I think it's a fantastic thing to support and encourage each other to do.
Well, Kathleen, you gave us a pretty good overview of kind of what those games were. And really, can you explain kind of what does law enforcement kind of encompass? You mentioned firefighters, and obviously police are involved in things like that. Like, can you explain some of the other law enforcement agencies that are involved, and like how many competitors are there? How many countries are there?
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Well, definitely. I've seen, there was sort of 55 to 60 countries represented in LA back in 2017. And for next year, they're guessing right now they're at least, as far as interest and initial registration, 70 plus countries involved, which is just incredible. There'll be little countries that you don't even know exist. And they'll have 2 athletes, which is fantastic. But when you think you have a choice of 60 plus different sports to choose from, I mean, surely you're going to find something. And one of the unique things about the games, for myself, 2 of my partners for different events, one is from the Netherlands. He's a firefighter. I do a mixed paddling and rowing event with him. And my other partner is a corrections officer from England. So you can meet people there to pair in pair events. And as an individual, if you say, I'd really like to do this team event or this pairs event, but I don't have anybody that wants to go or has the interest, you can simply put your name in and be paired with somebody else for that age category and event to at least guarantee that you'll compete when you get there. And I 100% guarantee that once you attend one of these events, you're going to have so many contacts and networking that you'll never be without a partner for the rest of your, active life if you attend these games. So you don't have to go and get, an arduous effort to gather 20 to 30 officers to go and make a team. You can actually try and find a spot just by going on as a solo athlete.
So do you have to be a sworn member of a law enforcement agency, or can you be a civilian? Can you be kind of a family member of somebody in law enforcement? How does that work?
I know they've expanded it, and a lot of things they tell us to basically it's at the discretion of the committee. Initially, it was just corrections, firefighters, and police, but I know now they have paramedics, they have retired and active in all the categories that they talk about. And they also have civilian members that are associated to one of the agencies that's approved. So meaning a fire department, first responder type service or things like that. But if you're ever in doubt, you just simply send them an email and ask. But the idea is to encourage participation, because it's my understanding in days of old, it was simply just police and fire back when they started. I think the first one was in 1985, I believe, in California. And it just had police and fire, but now they've opened it up. And that's all outlined about eligibility. So they have really opened it up. So it does include a lot of categories you wouldn't typically would be included.
Now, Kathleen, you did touch upon this a little bit. We talked about your role as an ambassador, but can you dive into that a little bit deeper, leading up to the event and the event itself?
Sure, absolutely. So basically, at each games, the next country that's putting it on will have an information session and say, if you're interested in being an ambassador and sort of be boots on the ground within your own community, come forward and volunteer. So having competed with some of these individuals leading these games in Birmingham, they said, would you like to be involved in this? I said, absolutely. I believe in the program. And it's basically just connecting with your community. So it's not really my job to solely connect with every possible agency within the province that could participate, but go to the ones within my local community, and also obviously my home department being the OPP, and be that voice to help promote it through social media, like tagging events. Even if I'm training on my own with my specific events, then they are asking, can you tag it? Again, it's just to generate interest, because as we all know, social media is the way we're going to reach out and try and connect with everybody. It's not simply through emails or just a poster up in a locker room and a detachment or something. So it's basically anything and everywhere that we can spread the word, we're doing it. So I'm even going to, even if it's a sport that's within the games that I'm participating with, or I have friends that play soccer, I'll go take a photograph of that, tag it with the games, and how are the soccer teams prepared? Are you training? And just, trying to generate interest and excitement about it.
Now, out of curiosity, when the games are happening live, do they do like a YouTube live stream? Do people have the opportunity to tune in and watch?
Yes, absolutely. I wouldn't assume it's going to be any different in Alabama as it's been before. A lot of them are televised. I don't think they cover it all, but they'll pick key events, and I believe they'll have a channel that you can sort of log into and say, okay, this is the date and time. I know my friend or family member is going to be competing. See if it's televised, and then tune in to see it. And also some people, if you're a serious athlete and you're worried about, I don't know if my time in this run or something is going to be competitive, you can always go on and see past results, which is great too. I don't think I saw a bigger crowd at a pool than this retired sheriff who was 94 doing a 50-meter breaststroke race. Now, mind you, he was the only competitor because he was the only 94-year-old athlete in the pool. But he walked his walker down to those stairs with a cheering crowd and climbed in, did his event, climbed out, and walked his walker away to get his medal. So if that's not inspiring and totally erases any excuse any of us had to try and get active, then that was it.
Wow.
Love it.
Well, great work as always, Kathleen. And any last words before we go here?
Not really. It's just I'm excited to be a part of it. I'll be excited to see. It'll be great to have a really strong Ontario representation from all our brothers and sisters in fire and police and corrections and whoever wants to come out. It's a fantastic event, and it's a great holiday for a family to come out. And I can't imagine how hot Alabama's going to be June 27 to July 6. But wow. I guess that'll be part of the added challenge.
Wow. Can you just tell us the website again? Make sure we got that right.
Yep, it's BHM, so Bravo Hotel Mike 2025.com.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Kathleen, and we wish you the very best of luck with all your efforts in the future.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for helping me promote the games and spread the word.
You have been listening to retired OPP Staff Sergeant Kathleen Doherty talking about the upcoming 2025 World Police and Fire Games here on the 10-5 podcast. A new episode drops every Friday on all major podcasting platforms, so please hit the subscribe button where you listen to your podcast so you never miss an episode. For Scott and myself, thank you for listening, and until next time, stay safe.